part 3. The correction kit is in place. Needed to remove that chip, and that goes there, that goes there. Yeah. So whatever that chip does, I guess it just reverses the reverse order, whatever. Anyway, I have my keyboard plugged in, which is all the way over there at this point, so I just have to remember, yeah, if nothing, I'm typing on here, nothing happens, it's, yeah, that's why. Oh yeah, I hope it has power. Where do we have power? So if this doesn't work, I mean, I have documentation. It's all good. We're on 3. That's connected there. Keyboard's over there. We'll see stuff. Oh, no. We'll see video here. Okay then. Put it on here right now. And turning on. Oh yes, okay, we have video. That's a very good first start. Very good first start. Very, very good, very good. So nothing broke. All right, using that keyboard here. Well, first things first, I'm going to have to reboot because I want to try Windows. Oh yeah, and I'm definitely moving over that that network, or not network, that memory card, because this is pretty cool too, because there is a way, and we have to see if this works, to actually have 128K of UMB if we're going from D00 to EFFF, which my machine that's free, and so that whole range is free on my machine, because I don't know what mine is set to right now. I mean, I could, anyway, no. Oh yeah, the pocket thing cannot be found because it doesn't have power to it. Okay, yeah, fine. So we'll definitely play around with that, see if that works. But first test is going to be a very easy test. Running the edit program, E, causes the screen to shift. Does this correct that problem? So let's start E. There we go. And for the first time ever too, we have a cursor. Yeah, I forgot about that. It's like, I never had a cursor in this application. The first time you start it up, it would shift over, and then if you exit and then restart the application, it works. But even so, I never had a cursor working. Alright, well, there's progress. Alright, is that worth spending that much money for? Yes, I have a cursor in the edit program. Okay. Funny. Alright, so let's Alt X this. Okay, I'm gonna press that. So let's reboot, because I should have, oh, and I'm gonna need, here's the link. Okay. Oh, and I might move over that the keyboard adapter. There's a chip on the underside, well, actually on the motherboard, that is replacement for the keyboard controller. So am I going to move that over? Maybe. And one of the funny things I was thinking of too, if there is an XT to PS2 adapter, so adapter of adapter, I can just hook it up to whatever the PS2 that's on the KVM. So that's interesting. So with that in mind, let's do what's for Windows. Where do I have? Load with EMS support for Windows. Let's do 6, yeah. And here, this is the problem with my EMS stuff. It says 256K. There's 2 megs of RAM on that board, but there has to be a bad chip somewhere there. So this is cool because I can see, yes, my frame starts at D000. That's exactly what the other card is set to. I confirm that because we have all the jumper settings here. I don't have to go search online for it, which is freaking cool. Now all the settings are set here for this, for you know, starting at, wait, on. Okay, so that's starting at E. I said D and E, those 2 ranges are clear for me, so that is fine. And then we have all the other information here, and it's set for 64K. I am testing. It says not recommended by the previous owner. We'll find out. I'm very, very curious. So at this point, let's see what Windows shows. Oh my goodness. The screen would be blank for this. Oh, that is funny. Oh, that is great. That is the first time that has worked on this machine. Now, of course, I have it set to black and white because it never worked before in any other setting. But let me play around with this. Control, is it? Oh, no, it's not control panel, right? It is Windows setup, right? Oh, and I don't have mouse. Is it? Yeah, this is going to be fun. Okay. And there's also the other stuff with, okay, VGA with monochrome display. Let's do... Will it ask for... Okay. I'm just going to do standard VGA right now. That's interesting that we have... I do have an ATI VGA card. That might be cool. But that's for testing. I'm going to test like some of the stuff off camera, obviously, because... yeah, you don't want to see every little bit by bit by bit. Okay, let's restart Windows. But the most important part is like just seeing this work, that I actually have color on the screen. VGA is gonna work. That still looks black and white to me. So I don't know. I will let this part go. I'll come back with more. Oh, that is extremely muted, but has it always been this muted? Yeah, okay. Oh, the color palette is probably set up for black and white. Yeah. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna play around with that. Move some other stuff over, but oh, that's all right. Why do I need this? I don't know. Why does it bring a smile to my face? It's because this stuff just didn't work. This stuff doesn't work. This stuff works now. All right, I wasn't even looking through the viewfinder. I'm sorry. So, yeah, next part soon. Well, I'll just continue. Shut up. Just a few seconds. It was indeed set to a monochrome color palette. If Windows 3.0 had the hot dog, I would have I would have changed it to that. But it has the default one right now. So moving on. This is fun. So taking a look at what video cards I can put in here. This is the one that was in there, and it works fine as far as I can see right now. And this was the card that was in the one PC 6300 that I just got. These other cards I have had on hand, and some of them were purchased for this to see if I can get it to work better. This one was the only one that worked. So now we'll have options. Not all options. Documentation, beautiful thing, beautiful thing. Video cards found not to work with the 6300. Any VGA board with Trident chipsets. I guess not. And Oak Technology VGA. Is that anyone? Because there's an oak there, and there's an oak there. We can try it, obviously. I don't think it's going to hurt anything. But let's see. It's going to be 91. Well, let's see. Do we have any date codes anywhere here? 92. We have 92 here. This one's 92. This one's 92. I don't know if I should go for broke or whatever, and it's probably not going to work in a 16-bit slot. See, that's the other thing too. I mean, it's not just a matter of popping any video card. It's like, no, there are certain VGA video cards, only a select few, that can work on the 8-bit bus, even though they are 16-bit. Like I said, this one works, that one works. And in fact, I might just stick with his Cirrus Logic, because this one's older. This is from 1988. This is an oldie. This is from 92. I mean, okay, I'm gonna play around with some stuff. We'll see. The other thing that I did was copy all of the files that were on that hard drive onto the compact flash card to be put into here. So all of the files that he had on that hard drive is going to be on here, readily accessible. So if I put that that RAM card in, that will have the drivers for it there, so I can just pop it in, blah 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 blah. So yeah, thinking ahead. Moving on. Decided to use, it's in there now, it's buried in there, to use that the CLGD5402 because that I got with the other system in my system. Well, I keep saying in my system. No. In the original. Yeah, in my original system, because it probably has the most RAM. I guess. I think it has 512. The other ones I think have 256K. And from what I've read too, it's not really a bad performer either. Of course, we're going to be, handicapped by the CPU itself, but, we're going to give it the most fighting chance that we can. There was, looking in the manuals, which is a good thing that I had because I did not see this anywhere else. There's a little dip switch, a jumper right there. And if it's on the left side, the bus speed is the original AT&T bus speed, which they put at 4 megahertz, I believe. That's what I think it says. Putting it on that, on the right side, it says right side. It doesn't give like 1 or 2 and 2 and 3. It says putting it over to the right side. It's like, I guess it depends on where you look at it. Well, anyway, putting it on the right side, the right two pins will apparently put the bus speed at 8. And I moved it over, I turned it on, everything appears to be working right now. In case anything else doesn't work, I'll put that over and put it down to the slower speed, but let's give it the most speed it can. So we'll put the bus speed, I guess, at 8 megahertz, which I don't know how that changes it, but apparently it does, which is cool. Anyway, so the next transfer, the next part to come over from the other machine is going to be, yes, I'm going to be replacing, or I'm going to be putting in the XT keyboard adapter for it, and it needs a new keyboard controller chip inside, so that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, so here is the replacement keyboard controller, and I'll get back to that. This is the first time I think I've shown the bottom of this. This is the one that I got off of eBay. So now this has the keyboard controller that was in there, and it no longer has that. So this does have a battery in it, and the clock does work, which is interesting. But for me, it's not really important to have a correct date and time, basically, on this machine. It can be perpetually 1980, whatever. That's just me, though. I mean, I can undo that and put it over on mine. I just have the battery off on mine. But I find some things interesting with this board, because it does say February 86, and mine was like September 86, and both of them have the same version, P4. I have a P4 here. Interesting about this board is that I think the prior owner got the updated BIOS from the W. Allen, because, I mean, it's in the binder, and I think it said mine came from the factory with the most recent 1.43 BIOS, so that has one, which is needed for basically everything. I mean, if you don't have the 1.43, you can't put like added video card or whatever. It's very necessary to do this. But the other thing that I found interesting is that this computer originally, this RAM is socketed. My RAM is all soldered on, so that's interesting. The other thing interesting is this. There's a bodge wire there. I'm assuming that's from factory, but it doesn't appear here. Now I'm going to try this right now. This should work all good. I needed to put that jumper there because documentation is wonderful. Like, for this keyboard, it says you need to try it to see exactly what to jumper. This might not work later on. So what is my end game? My end game is not to use that keyboard with it, even though, I mean, it's a nice keyboard, and the other is my brain just went there. So AT&T to XT adapter. What's coming to me later on is an XT to PS2 adapter. So we can then use my KVM. Cool. How about the next thing? Serial to PS2 connector for the mouse. Now, of course, there are passive, serial to PS2 connectors. But the mouse needs to support, serial mode. And I don't know if the KVM does. So I bought an active one, serial to PS2. So this is going to be like on that last video, because they haven't come in yet. You will see this actually hooked up using everything on this, and then we can display on there. So yeah, time to, well, I'm not going to flip this over and close it. I'm going to see if it works first. Hold up. Bingo. Yeah, it works. So that is on to the next thing. Well, actually, you haven't seen it. Press any key. Bloop. That was easy. Alright, I've taken out the Boca Ram EMS board that was in there for a while, and put the memory. Oh, there it is. That one. Put the memory board from the other machine in this, and let's see what happens. Let's say. Oh, wrong keyboard. Load nothing because I just want the spare. You know what? Let's move that over. No, that ain't gonna work. Alright. Let us look what the other person did. So, I forget where I put it. GS6300. There we go. E config sys. It doesn't want to go up. Anyway. Config sys. So UMB was our DOS equals UMB. So I'm going to put these two in, in my configuration and see what happens. There's no, I looked at this before. Yeah, like, it seems like the, just the stuff in the config is needed, that, like, I needed to use, what was it, QRAM or something to enable LMS or something on there. All I need is this, so I'll be right back and see how that goes. Okay, so it did take some playing around, but I got it working. I was getting a hardware 8020 error, but playing around with it, we got 640K of UMB, so DOS should be on top then, and it's a good way to. I have a 60. It says 605. You can't read that now. So I have it 605 free RAM with it with the old card. With that, let's see what it shows now. I have 637 free. Total memory. Oh, look at, wow. 600, oh, 700, ooh, no, 700, 578. Conventional, upper, at 56K, free, 5K used. Alright, so at least I know that works. What I want to see actually, is if I can get that 128. So I'm gonna turn this off and check it out. Oh, that doesn't quite work. I have it set to use the 128, and so we can set it to /D00 to EFFF. 64K is DF. That's allocate 120K. You're using no EMS. The appropriate. Okay, so yeah, so that's what I have in my config. That slash D0 did that, and it's switched correctly, I believe. The only two differences are on, off, on. Yeah, so, although this is a different module, but I mean, like it says, it's not recommended, so we must have tried it. I mean, it doesn't work for me, but, yeah, that's kind of unfortunate, I think. Because that'd been really cool if I can get 128K of UMB. That's a lot of upper memory. This, I know it says K available. Let's see what MSD shows. I mean, it's not going to be 100% accurate because, well, yeah, the memory block. I'm using 2 from D000 to EFFF. Let's see what it looks like though. Is it gonna give it F for UMBs or? Actually, yeah, that's an interesting thing to think about. So we'll go into memory. See, I like using MSD for, even though this is PC DOS version 7.0 and MSD, obviously, Microsoft Diagnostics are not on there. I mean, it's a quick way to actually see what's on your system. So that's, and I say quick. Oh my goodness. Ah! That is beautiful. Alright, you know what? Let me switch the settings back to use just 64K and see if this weirdness continues. That's nice. So, MSD doesn't work like that either, the other one. So, I'm moving on right now, just for fun. I put it in the essentials before. I was only using it for Windows because Windows didn't like UMB before. So at this point, it's just playing around. EMS is loaded, and I have UMB. 13K of UMB used because I'm loading the EMS driver into UMB exactly like the previous owner did with this card. I am just curious to see what Windows does, and I think that's going to be it for... is it for this video or for just today? Well, I guess you'll find out. So let's see what Windows does. Is it going to complain? And I want to look at the... I mean, I think this is much better. This is much better than it did before, I think. Because I don't think it even... Yeah, it would never work with an upper memory defined for the system. For, whatever reason. Who knows, actually. So for properties, we... Nope, not that. Where is it? I think it's under help. About programming. Let's see how much RAM it says it has. So it has 372K, 0K in EMS. Even with, so it has 5,104K of EMS to use, but it's not using anything. I've never had it working before either, but we have 5 megs of expanded memory. So actually the last thing I do want to do, I want to see what everything looks like when everything is loaded, with all of the devices like the CD-ROM and everything, and how much RAM I have left. Now I'm thinking too that all of these are not exactly 100% correct, because I think I did changes and I didn't change the menu around. So even though that said 605, it might have had 578 before too. So I'm going to do all but Actually, I'm gonna have to change this to all but EMS, and so it's gonna. I'm gonna do EMS. So it has 5. Okay. So we're loading the CD-ROM high. So at this point, it's not going to leave any room for DOS. I mean, that was, I think, the reason before. Like, there was no room for DOS in the high memory. But I could be wrong. Okay, I don't have that still right now, of course. And just for a quick memory check here, largest executable is only 424. That's not cool. I'm using 63 of my 64K. But you know what? Like, this is... I mean, the driver network stuff isn't loaded either. So, is taking a chunk out. Although... I mean, it says 571K. It's only 69K of... If anybody could make more sense of this, actually, I would really appreciate it. Because if it's using 69K, nice, of conventional, why am I only getting 424K of the largest program that I can do? Or should not I look at that? Alright. So, actually at this point, yeah, I'm going to split this up. This is it for this section because... You know what? It is actually going to be pretty long. The next part, we'll see. Okay. Take care. Bye-bye. Don't I always lie to you? So what happens when all of that stuff is loaded and that's how much memory you have and you try to load Windows? That's what happens. It didn't freeze. Just doesn't like it.